Hey guys, what's going on? It's me, Will Patterson, and today we're talking all about mood boards. This video is brought to you by Squarespace. So today I'm going to be taking you through a mood boarding process that I went with a client I'm currently still working for, and I'm going to show you the mood board, the decisions I made about that mood board, and I'm also going to show you the logo design at the end, which is probably not the finished one just yet, but it's where I'm at just now within the project. So on this first sort of mood board page right here, we've got a bunch of different designs and they all basically have the same style or mood towards them expressed through a company. Some of them are a bit weird, but some of them have got like really good styling towards it. So for this logo design, I was given a brief by a HR company and they're called RH Faction Resources Humane in their place where they're living. So I was commissioned by them to do them a logo design rebrand and to create a brand system for them. This company is a human resources company, so the first thing I had to do was work out what they do and why they do it and where they're based, who they work with and things like that, because it's research. You just need to do the research. So here we have the mood board that I created. There's a few pages that we'll go through, but basically the first thing you've got to think about with mood boarding is that we're trying to create a mood, and this is the kind of thing that I wanted for them, like this general mood. And it's weird, you can't really put it into words, but everything on here looks kind of like in the same family. It's kind of like the same family of logo, aside from a couple of different things. So I'll just take you through this. So the first one here is face. Now, I don't know what these company logos are for. I just do it basing it on looks and basing it on how I feel about it. That's the way that I work with my mood boarding. So we've got face here, and what I loved about this was the hidden face inside of here. Now, this wasn't going to take away faction because faction has the F and the A, but I wasn't going to use that face because the client said that they didn't want any sort of human elements in the logo design, and I sort of like stayed clear from that. I love this one here, and I've written across to it because it was just too calligraphy. Or should I say it's just too calligraphic. It's not going to work for this professional company. It doesn't really show what they're all about. This one here, the H, I chose this one on the mood board and put it there because one, I love the feel, two, I love the serifs of the H, and three, the negative space shows a coffee. And I was wondering if we could use RH as a negative space, like if we had an R somewhere within this, and that could be an icon for RH, and that would be very clever for them because everyone would know it's a company logo, but at the same time they'll know who it's from. So then we go over down to the bottom here and we see that we've got other things right down here, and we didn't choose any of these, and I haven't written on these because these didn't really take my fancy. It's all about a process of elimination for me, not something that I can copy off, but I want to understand my brain and the reason why it made these choices based on the looks or based on the family of looks. Now this one here, I absolutely loved the square in the middle, but I hated the color in the background. It was too burgundy. It wasn't the best color and it didn't scream professionalism. But what I did like was a sense of depth and the square icon. And I thought we could use something like that. Now I chose these ones here like this one because of the icons and the type. Now if we keep going through this, you'll see some of the similarities and hopefully get the process behind why I'm doing this or why we do this as designers. So you see, over here, I love the minimal aspect of this, but it wouldn't make too much sense. I also love this one because of the dimensions. It's an impossible shape and kind of like an optical illusion. I can't zoom in for you, but it's like an optical illusion right there. And I thought we could create something like this, kind of like an F and a H, and we could expand upon that. Again, here we have an icon and awesome design, and I love that, and the way that it's like a hexagon. And over here we've got a bunch of clean ones which I haven't written on because I didn't like them in the end, and even though I thought they were cool. You may not see this one, but I have written on this one. I've like dotted it because of the crown. Now something that I loved about this one is the way that they've used type to create the crown, or shall I say the crown is used in the type. So basically we've got a crown instead of a W, which fits perfectly because of the negative space. And I was thinking we could do maybe something like that. You see, in the old logo that they designed, it wasn't the best. And basically it looked like a book publisher's logo because it had script in it. And I really didn't want to put script in this. I didn't think that it was the best for the company. I thought having an icon and some nice clean text would do well, and it is doing well, and you'll see it at the end. But basically I love the idea of an icon to do with a faction, And basically in the old logo, they had like a castle in there, and I was taking inspiration from that castle because it symbolizes a lot about solidarity and kingdom mindedness and like business mindedness, like everyone uniting together. So this is why I liked the crown idea here. Now over here we move on to some clever type, and you see this one I liked because you can still read it and it's missing it, and the same down here. But what I loved more was the serifs, because I absolutely love serifs over sans serifs. But the one that actually killed it for me and made it into like the actual thing that I wanted was this one right here. Not because of the color, because I hated the color, but what I do like is the shade of the color. So like the saturation of it, like this pastel color. But I also liked the icon and the text here and the font that they've used. Not because it's missing bits, but because of the serifs, because of the way that I'm going to show you in a minute, which is interesting. So we move on to the next one right here, and we've got a bunch of other ones here as well. And we've got Dennings here, and I love the serifs. And again, it's missing parts of the actual type, but you can still read it. It's missing the thinnest parts. It's only showing the thick parts and the serifs. Again, you can see here on Resolved that it's missing part of the 3 or the E on there to make it look like dashes, which is very cool. What I loved here was the serifs, and also the fact that I could go like HR or RH even. I wanted to make something like that, like to create this into an RH. And this took a lot of inspiration to me actually creating something like it. The only thing I liked about this one really was the abstract shapes that they use, like the polygon shapes. Thought that was pretty cool. This one I put in there because it was a different kind of art, and this is going to break the sort of mood boarding experience for me, but I do that sometimes just as inspiration. And the rest of these other ones were basically put in there as inspiration to give me that certain mood of the company. Now, something that's really important when thinking about mood boards is that it's not something to be thinking about too much when you first start doing it. You really just want to be looking at designs that you know that you like and that fit that company after you've done your research. And the reason why you do that is simply because you want to just let your mind be free for a bit, just like in the logo design stage. So after the mood boarding, I went ahead and created a castle. And that was what I wanted to do, create a very simple castle with some clean text. Now that didn't really work, and that's because basically the company wanted a logo design that wasn't so obvious of a castle. They wanted something a bit more interesting. Now, I know what you guys will say, you probably say that's the wrong way of doing it, but I listened to them, and the reason was because people were questioning it, but they wanted something a bit different. They wanted the castle idea because they really liked it, what I did, but they want me to do it a bit differently. So I went to the drawing board here and created like this castle. And as you can see, we've got serifs on this castle right here. And the reason why we have serifs on here is to match the type. Now we basically created a bunch of these, and I created probably about 50 variations of these during the time of designing. And I'll show you just now what we came up with. So this is the finished printed logo. Now I'm going to be annotating this because I print out all my logos off to make sure I can see them on paper, to make sure I'm getting rid of the mistakes. And this is by no means the finished thing. There is a few mistakes which I will annotate. But basically this logo here is what we've used, and this is the icon. Now the type that I've used on here is very similar. I think this is called Bookman, this type. And basically what I loved about it was serif. Now a lot of people may say that it should be like sans serif, but in reality I prefer to have just the serif option to this because it looks better with the castle. Because as you can see, I've fitted the serifs to the castle, so it looks kind of similar to the castle itself. Now what you guys have to remember is that these are all just proofs. They're not actual designs yet. They're not real or reality. These are ideas that I've created and I need to modify on. I've given them to the client to preview just to gauge what they're thinking about it, and basically that's just part of the process. So what I did is we created this castle by going ahead and wanting to maybe make a shield. And the shield was something like this. It went like, if I could show you on the camera, I'm probably drawing this at a weird angle, but it kind of went something like this. So an inverted image of that. And it had the same, you know, on the inside, I had like a border and stuff like that. So this castle was basically come out of a shield, which again is like a faction. And it had the same thing going on. I don't think I have it on this sheet of paper, I don't, but the castle was basically taken out of this because I wanted something with a shield but also with a castle at the same time, because that was the way that my mind was going. but I also wanted to be abstract and a bit free, so it wasn't just questioned as a castle, like why is it a castle? So I wanted everything to fit together. Now your brain must be absolutely exploding because you probably are like, Will, how did you get to that point? Well, it's hard to condense this down to a 10-minute video, but the general aspect of logo design mood boarding is to create a mood and to replicate that mood, not by copying, but by taking inspiration of maybe the layout or maybe the style of the logo. Is taking inspiration from there to get a mood. It's mapping something visual that you see on paper to your work that you want to do. And what we did here with the HR logo is pretty good. Now you may be saying, well, I thought it was RH, and that is true. We're fixing that, but the reason why I've done this is so I could see it as a HR logo first. So that is basically it, and this is the finished icon right there, which is not actually finished yet. In reality, it's just finished on paper here, but as you can see, it looks kind of like the mood board, and it's got the same general vibe as the mood board because we've got the serifs here that I liked, and we've got the castle looking thing, and we've got the abstractness. I need to fix this part down here. Also need to fix the strength here and maybe make this a bit thicker as well. So like we have to like work all these different things out during time. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you want to get notified every time I upload a video, then press that subscribe button. And also, if you want to be a notification squad member, then go ahead and press that little notification bell next to it. Let me know your thoughts down below and what else you would like to see on my videos, and I'll catch you in the next week. See you soon. I just want to take a second to thank the sponsors of this video, Squarespace, for sponsoring this video. If you don't know, Squarespace is the website platform that I use that enables you to create amazingly good looking websites that are highly functional, highly profitable for you and your design business. It looks great, so guys, go and check it out. Click that link in the description below, and I'll catch you in the next video. See you soon.